on. Pocono Raceway is the location for stop number 20 on the Castrol GTX Cup Series. We're set for 30 laps of action on the second trip visit to the Tricky Triangle for the season. As we are here today for the running of the WIX Filters 500, as we're set for 30 laps of action on this triangle-shaped racetrack. As we had a okay race at New Hampshire, the last race on the tour, of course, on the season. So, but but this version of Pocono now we're running for the series. Well, should be more exciting, I guess you might say. Here's the lineup for today's race. On the pole it is Keith Batson in car 88, the Quality Care Services Ford. He'll be alongside Charles Sanford, number 42. Both the drivers have yet to win a race this season. Can one of those two do it today? We'll find out. Second row has Phil Parker, number 5, and Paul Minnick in number 77, the Jasper Engines Ford. Third row has two-time winner this season Dylan Young in car number 2, and he'll be alongside Cat Batson 20, Texaco Haviland Ford. Fourth row has Kev Shearer in 36, and number 4 William Brock is alongside. Fifth row will find number 18 Matt Haas, the winner this season at Rockingham, and two-time winner this season Kyle Matthews, number 24, the DuPont Chevrolet. Next row down has Cole Deaver in number 3, the GM Goodwrench Chevy, the winner this season at Texas, and two-time winner this season Chris Dollarton in number 60. Next row down has number 43 Joshua Collard and number 31 Nathan Hudson, Collard winner this season at Riverside. Next row down has three-time winner this season Jessica Shelton, number 94 McDonald's Ford. She'll be alongside car 25 Johnny Gardner in the Budweiser Chevrolet. Jess Bowie carrying one of our 3 in-car cameras in today's event. The other in-car camera was carried by the man who finished second to Shelton in the last race on the tour at New Hampshire, also winning this season at North Wilkesboro, Joshua Osborne, in the XI SKF Ford, car number 99, and Daytona 500 champion Rob Evans in number 12, as well as the winner of the 600 at Charlotte this season. Going to the next row down has Nathan Orman in number 40 in the Coors Light Chevrolet, and Seth Cole in the 10-10-345 Ford Lucky Dog Pontiac, car number 45. Next row down is Quentin Moore, number 90, the Hills Brothers Ford, and Dylan Poteet, our third in-car camera, the Caterpillar Chevrolet Caterpillar Pontiac, car number 422. Next row down is Jay Jefferson in number 1, and number 75 Jesse Turner. Next row down after that would be Emmanuel Hartnett in 11, and 66 that is Zachary Fitzwater. Then it's Shane Lake in number 30, and number 71 Alex Miller. Miller, one of the hot drivers on this tour. Miller coming on the last few races of the season with a few good runs lately. Next row down has number 26 Ryan Brommer and number 21 that is Marcus Sachi. Next row down Mike Becker and number 44 and 55 Henry Samper. Then it's Sky Collins at number 9 and number 20 Brandon Parker. Then it's Mitchell Collins number 10 and number 6 Jordan Lopez. Then it's Zach Winkle, number 97, and number 33 is James Henry. Then it's Julius Anderson and Casey Nanico, and number 23 Adam Flickinger starts shotgun in the field. This track, of course, 2.5 miles in length. Obviously, here, as we said, it's a rectangle-shaped racetrack. We'll be heading to another 2.5 mile racetrack. Actually, 2 races in a row. We'll be heading to another. Actually, it's one of 3 races in a row. We'll be heading to 2.5 mile length racetracks, including the next race on the tour, which is actually over 2.5 miles, 2.66 to be exact. We'll be heading back to Talladega for the Die Hard 500. Then after that race, we'll be heading to Indianapolis for the Brickyard 400. Then after that will be the last road course stop on the tour, the Butt at the Glen at Watkins Glen. So that's what's all coming up after this race at Pocono here. As we said, this is the 20th stop on the tour. After this race here, we'll have 14 to go on the season. So the season winding down, I guess you might say, for season 23. And it'll be the end. It'll be here before you know it, obviously. Here comes command to fire him up at Pocono.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
So the field on the backstretch here, so get ready for racing on the north chute. So get ready for racing here today at Pocono Raceway. Keith Batson will lead them down with Charles Sanford on the outside front row. The top four drivers qualified have not yet won the season here. Can one of those four pull it off today? Well, we'll find out in the 30 laps that will ensue here today. As they come off the third turn here, Keith Batson leads them down. The green flag flies, and the WIX Filters 500 is underway here at Pocono. This is a very fast racetrack. The pole speed for this event, 186 miles an hour here at Pocono. And they're side by side. Batson low side, Sanford high side. In-car cameras again today will be carried by Joshua Osborne, Jessica Shelton, and Dylan Poteet. As they come off the second turn here, and now setting the car for a flat turn 3 here for Batson. It's a 6-degree bank turn, I should say. Only 3 turns at Pocono instead of the usual 4 we would have at Talladega, next race on the tour. On to the longest straightaway of the 3. That's the front stretch at 3,740 feet in length there, about the 300 feet shorter than the back stretch at Talladega. And heading to the steepest bank turn of the 3, that's turn number 1, banked at 14 degrees. They'll come off that first turn and they'll head on to the long straightaway, which is 3,055 feet in length. Then they'll head into turn number 2, which is a tunnel turn, and there really is a tunnel that runs through that turn. It's an 8-degree banked turn, and then they'll head into the north chute, which is 1,780 feet in length. And that's what Pocono Raceway is in a nutshell. It's fast, it's competitive, and it's exciting. Keith Batson leads with Dylan Young second position. Third is Phil Parker. Then Sanford drops to fourth position. Moving up to fifth right now is Matt Haas as he gets by Kev Shearer for position. Joshua Collard, you talk about a good season, one of the best seasons he's had in a long time. He's going to be sitting fourth in the standings coming into this event here as you see Paul Minnick about to go underneath him for position. That's for seventh place, excuse me. Minnick and Cat Batson to the low side. High side is Collard and Cole Deaver. Now Kyle Matthews shoots to the low side. Gets past Deaver. Now tries to get past Collard in 43. Now they drag race down the front stretch with Matthews having a slight advantage by about almost a full car length over Collard. Inside Jessica Shelton's car, she runs right now in 13th position as she's about to get passed by the 40 of Nathan Ormond. As she gets in the third turn, she'll brake hard for that corner. Ormond gets by now. Joshua Osborne goes by 99. See how fast she'll draft off Deaver down the front stretch as Rob Evans now moves to the low side. She clears him. And she'll head into turn number 1 at 208 miles per hour. That's how fast she'll go into turn number 1. And down about 176 in the middle of turn number 1, as her and Deaver almost touched him on the second turn, or on the first turn, excuse me. And now from inside Joshua Osborne's car. And into turn number 3 at 196 miles an hour, and then he'll drop down about 154 in the middle of turn 3. And then see how fast Joshua hits that front stretch. We saw Shelton go 208, 204, 5, 7, 8, 209 miles an hour into turn number 1 goes Osborne. And his last up the fastest of the race so far at 184.027. His fastest, I should say, in this race. Fastest lap so far set by Cat Batson at 185.571. Back to the leaders, and we got a new leader here. That is Phil Parker at number 5, as he'll move past Keith Batson. And he'll bring Charles Sanford with him right now, so Phil Parker goes to the top spot. Parker, another one of those guys who's had some good runs, but he has yet to win this season. He has won before in the Castrol GTX Cup Series, but it's been just a couple of 3 seasons, I should say, that the last time Parker last won. Batson gets a good bite off the first turn on the outside of the track as he stays ahead of Sanford in 3rd position, and here it comes into turn number 3. Matt Hoskins moved to the track by Paul Minnick in the 77. Minnick having one of his best runs, I should say, in a long time. He's running right now in 4th position in car number 77. That's the Jasper Engines Federal Mogul Ford Taurus he's driving here for. And the turn number 3, turn number 1 they come here. Sanford to the inside of Batson once again. Not quite enough there. And Charles will try off turn number 1. Top 4 standing right together here as Haas and Batson, Cat Batson is in 28, right there, running right together. Kev Shear running in 7th position. Dylan Young's up to 8th. Kyle Matthews running in 9th, and a surprise in 10th position, Nathan Ormond. Right now running in 10th position ahead of Joshua Collard. Collardish is under fire from the other Joshua Osborne, who's now in the drag race with the girl, Jessica Shelton. Collard running in 11th, Osborne 12th, Shelton 13th at the moment. Rob Evans running 14th. He's in a battle with Chris Stollerton for 14th position, the 12 and the 60. William Brock is running in 16th position. 17th is Seth Colt, 18th Cole Deaver, 19th Nathan Hudson, 20th is Dylan Poteet, 21st is Shane Lake, 22nd Quentin Moore, Jesse Turner 23rd, 24th Jay Jefferson, 25th is Zachary Fitzwater, 26th is Alex Miller, 27th is Johnny Gardner, 28th Mike Becker, 29th Emmanuel Hartnett, 30th Sky Cummins, and it's Marcus Sachi, Henry Sanford, Brandon Parker, and Ryan Brommer as the top 34. 35th Zach Winkle, 36th is Mitchell Collins, 37th is Jordan Lopez, 38th James Henry, 39th Julius Anderson, Casey Nanico 40th, and 41st is Adam Flickinger at the moment. And that's your full field rundown on the 10th lap here at Pocono Raceway. And whoa, Batson and Sanford thought about going 3 wide through the middle of through turn number 2, I should say. Batson thought better of it and backed off, but Sanford takes that spot away from Batson anyway, and so Sanford goes to 2nd place now. And now you got 2 Chevrolets in the front 2 spots here. Ford's running 3rd and 4th with a Pontiac positions 5 and 6, but here comes Matt Haas trying to change all that. He'll move into turn number 1 here. In the meantime, battle for the lead. Charles Sanford to the left side of Phil Parker for the top spot. And now Parker pulls ahead as he comes off the first turn. He has that high lane working to his advantage. Sanford falls back in behind, but here comes Batson with a full head of steam to the low side. He moves Sanford up the track. And said that was for the last lap there, Charles, and he moves back to 2nd place once again. But here comes Paul Minnick at the 3rd spot now in the 77 machine. So now I got 2 Fords chasing the Chevy, and look at them fanning out all over the place on the front stretch here. Matthews to the low side with Collard helping him. That's back about this part of the track, and here comes Dylan Young to the low side of Kev Shear. A little Sheets versus Wawa going on right there on the inside lanes. Sorry, Kevin Dylan, to say that. And here they come to the backstretch here. Collard making it 3 wide, almost made it 3 wide. as Matthews lead the low side of Cat Batson, 24 and 28 going at it here for position. That's, I believe, for 8th place on your screen right there. Collard pushes Matthews by him, and now he's going to try to push Matthews by Matt Haas. Drag race on the front stretch here. Matthews pulls ahead by about a full car length over Matt Haas. That's 7th place. And here comes Dylan Young pushing Kev Shearer by Keith Batson. Remember the war that was waged the first time he was at Pocono here in the 5-hour Energy 400. Remember the battles that was waged there. Had a great finish in that event. And that event saw the man in the 24 car, Kyle Matthews, take the victory in that race. One of his 2 wins this season. He also won at Richmond. And meantime, look at Paul Minnick up to 2nd place in the 77 car. Minnick has not won in a long time. He's won before in the series, but he's not won in a long time. As he's getting the push from the 42 car, Charles Sanford, who runs 3rd. 4th is Batson. 5th is Dylan Young. Oh boy, Batson to the high side. I don't know if that's a good move or not, though. But high side's usually not the place you want to be in turn 2. And it ain't. You get momentum come off turn number 1, though, but not turn 2 or 3, as a matter of fact, especially how flat 3 is. They're going through it right now. Parker still leading him down there. And meantime, a couple of drivers moving their way up through the field here. That's Collard in 8th, and Lucas Rugg in the top 10 right now. That number 94, Jessica Shelton, up to 8th position right now. On board Jessica Shelton's car. Running in 8th position. Up ahead, Joshua Collard in 7th. Heads into the tunnel turn at about 205 miles an hour now. On the short chute, 197 miles an hour now. Brakes hard for turn number 3, down about 142 miles an hour. She'll move low on Kev Shearer in the 36 car as her and Collard running about to draft past Kev Shearer. And here comes Shelton to the low side. It's going to make a 3 wide for in the turn number 1. And she'll push Joshua Collard up the track here in turn number 1. And they're going to go 3 wide on the long punctuation, but Shelton thought better of it, and she backs off. Now she's under fire from another Joshua Osborne on the outside. In 99, that's 8th place going out of here. Osborne 9th, Haas 10th, and Matthews running 11th, and 12th is William Brock. And the number 4 machine. And meantime, Minnick is going backwards in the 77 car. And meantime, Charles Samber all over the back bumper of Phil Parker. And Parker only 205 in the turn number 1. And Samper winds it up, fires it in there, and now it's going to be a drag race on the backstretch. Parker pulls ahead just a slight bit there. And Samper gathers his composure, and we'll try again some other time here some other lap. I actually honestly thought Samper had him through 1 and 2 though, through turn number 1 though, but the last turn 1, as we said, you go up in a high side, gives you more momentum on the racetrack here, as opposed to if you run high in turns 2 and 3, and where the turns are each turns flatter. And that, unfortunately, will not give you the momentum you get as opposed to if you ran off a high bank turn. Gives you more momentum and more momentum and more straight speed, especially if you're in the draft. Top 5 all running together here. Young's now at the 3rd position. Minnick dropping in the 4th, and Batson running in 5th. Shelton now moves into 6th position. Don't count her out just yet. As she is closing on the back of Batson's car. Instead of a 5 car race, we may have about a 6, maybe a 10, 12 car race for the win, possibly. I don't know about that. Collard running behind her in 7th position. There's Shearer in 8th, Osborne 9th, and Dalton now trying for 10th underneath the 4 car of William Brock. And here comes Dylan Young for 2nd. He and Sanford side by side off turn number 2, but turn number 1, as we saw before with Phil Parker, you run that high side off the 2nd turn. It gives you momentum and straightaway speed, as we said, and it showed with the 42 car. But Dylan Young, he wants it all. He wants to go for it again. Young riding Sanford's butt right now, on that short shoot, on a north shoot. Now here they come off turn number 3. And now Batson is now pestering Young just a little bit as they go through the turns on the front stretch. 19 laps in the books, 11 laps to go. Phil Parker has led for most of the race so far. Took the lead from Keith Batson on lap number 6 and has not looked back since, but Sanford's giving it a try right now off that first turn. He'll move to the low side. Sanford says, I'm not going to let it get away from me this time, and he'll move to the low side of Phil Parker's car off turn number 2. Sanford should have the advantage off the 2nd turn. He does by about a quarter of a car length, and here they come into turn number 3. Sanford gets the momentum and lets the car roll through that 3rd turn. Not necessarily ride the brakes all the way through the turn, but more or less roll through the 3rd turn. You go, much like what they did through the turns at New Hampshire last race in the turn. They just let the car roll through the corners. Just kind of tap the brake. What I'm saying is just tap the brake and let the car roll through to the center of the corner at New Hampshire. And turn 3 at Pocono is much of the same way. So Sanford goes to the top now. Parker drops to 2nd. Batson up to 3rd. Young up to 4th. And Shelton right now running in 5th position. She's made it all up right now in that number 94 car. Front bumper cam from Jessica Shelton's car. She runs 5th. 9 laps to go at Pocono. Here comes Batson to the low side in car 88. As they thunder into turn number 1. And now Collar's going to try to get a draft off Shelton's car. Shelton's going to try to get a draft off Batson. As they come off turn number 1. And there's the look from Dylan Poteet's vantage point right now. We have not seen from his onboard camera just yet. He's third to third turn right now. He runs right now in 24th position. Right there behind Zachary Fitzwater at the moment. In the meantime, Kyle Matthews and Cole Deaver now trying to get a draft together here as they try to move up on Joshua Osborne in 99. They come through turn number 2, nothing doing at the moment. And they are trading spots like crazy up ahead of them. That's William Brock and Nathan Ormond. And here comes Osborne's going to shoot to the low side of Ormond's car. Meantime, Deaver doing the same to Matthews right now, come off turn number 3. Two of the most iconic cars of the 90s, right there going at it there. The 24 rainbow colored car and the number 3 and that black number 3. Classic Earnhardt versus Gordon. That's for 14th position. By the way, Deber's 14th, Matthews 15th at the moment. Meantime, the front three is pulled away. Sanford, Parker, and Batson. Shelton running in fourth. Fifth is Kev Shearer. Sixth is Chris Dollerton now, as Dylan Young has dropped back a bunch now. Meantime, William Brock's to the low side in the number 4 car. He's in hot contention for that top 10. Brock to the low side of Dylan Young as they go into turn number 3. That we coming down for 5 to go this time by. This is going to be the 25th lap here at Pocono. Brock goes by, and here comes Parker trying to get up in the back bumper of Charles Sanford's car. Keith Batson watching all this from 3rd spot. Five laps to go. Charles Sanford still out in front, looking for his first victory of the season. Phil Parker also looking for his first, and same with Keith Batson. He's also looking for his first. But closing in, a couple of former winners this season here. Jessica Shelton, who won the last time at New Hampshire, looking for her 4th of the season. And number 36 there, that is Kev Shearer, looking for his 2nd victory of the season. He had won at Martinsville. And Bill Parker going for the lead in turn number 3, and he's got it into the 3rd turn. Here comes Batson up on his back bumper. They'll come off turn number 3. Batson sneaks a peek to the low side. Now Shelton takes 3rd position away from Charles Sanford. Four to go. Here comes Batson for the lead in turn number 1. He tried it one time before, though, and it didn't quite work there. And he knows Parker's car can squirt come off that first turn, and it does. And here comes Sanford trying for 3rd place again. He gets past Shelton, and that's letting Kev Shearer and Chris Dollerton now in this race. Kev Shearer with like a good performance in front of his home state fans in Pennsylvania. Three laps to go. Phil Parker, can he hold them all off? Keith Batson's got something to say about that in an '88 car, though. And I feel he may not be done seeing any passing for the win here, I would imagine. Batson to the low side now, tries to look low on Phil Parker off the in the turn number 2 they go. Does Keith have the low line ready? Yes, he does. He'll line it up, fire it in there in turn number 2, and he's got it. Keith Batson to the top side, but Parker fights back on the outside of the track to come out there side by side in turn number 3. And Sanford's going to go by Parker now, and it's Keith Batson to the lead. And meantime, don't look now, but here comes 36, Kev Shearer to the low side. He's not done yet. 2 laps to go at Pocono. Charles Sanford to the back bumper of Keith Batson. Parker to 3rd, Shearer to 4th, Dollerton 5th, Shelton dropping to 6th. Brock in 7th, 8th is Batson. Cat Batson is Osborne 9th, and Dylan Young 10th with Kyle Matthews 11th. Any of these cars can win it. There's a 4-leaf clover for somebody here at Pocono. Here comes Parker to the low side in turn 3, and he's going to take it. He's going to try to take it for Sanford. Come off the 2nd turn, off turn number 3. Meantime, white flag waves for Keith Batson. He came close to winning in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona, only to get passed on the final lap in that event. Can he hold them all off one more lap in the WIX Filters 500 at Pocono? Sanford trying to close up in the 42 car as they come down the back, as they come down the long stretch for the last time. Charles Sanford trying to close. He's up in the back bumper of Batson's car as they come off turn number 2. He looks to the low side through turn number 3. Sanford and Batson are going to go side by side through the third turn. Sanford to the low side takes the lead off turn number 3. He holds on to it as they come off the third turn. And the checker flag falls for that California Crusher. Charles Sanford wins the WIX Filters 500. Oh my goodness, heartbreak again for Keith Batson. Again, so close, but yet so far. Finishes in second position, though, for him. Kev Shearer comes on third. Phil Parker fourth. Fifth, the William Brockton, Chris Thornton, Kat Batson, Jessica Shelton, Joshua Osborne, and Dylan Young, the top 10. And Charles Sanford, number 42, finally gets his first victory of the season. He won this race. He won this very track last season. The first time he was at Pocono last season, and he does it here today in the WIX Filters 500 here at Pocono. Yeah. Average speed 181.541 here. Charles Sanford gets his first victory of the season, as we mentioned before. Rest of the finishing order: Kyle Matthews comes home 11th, 12th to Paul Minnick, 13th Jesse Turner, Joshua Collard 14th, Nathan Orman with a good run finishing 15th, 16th Cole Deverton and Seth Cole, Shane Lake, Alex Miller, and Nathan Hudson the top 20. Then Fitzwater, Hartnett, Evans, Moore, Jefferson, Becker, Commons, Brommer 28th. 29th Henry Sanford and 30th goes to Marcus Sachi. Then rest of the finishing order here: Brandon Parker, Johnny Gardner, Dylan Poteet. Bad runs for both Gardner and Poteet, obviously, unfortunately for both those drivers. Winkle, Collins, Lopez, Henry, Flickinger, Anderson, and Nanico was the rest of the finishing order. And rest of the finishing order, cars that finished. Matt Haas dropped out because of a valve problem late in the going. He ends up finishing last in today's event. But the California Crusher, Charles Sanford, gets his first victory of the season as he wins the WIX Filters 500 on a final lap pass in the turn number 3. What a move, basically, for Charles on that last lap. He knew what he had to do on Batson. He knew he got the draft on him in the third turn, and basically, well, that moment pretty much explained for itself right there. And it's the old motto for ABC Sports: the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Well, you saw it right there for both Batson and for both Sanford and Batson. For Charles Sanford, it was the thrill of victory. For Keith Batson, the agony of defeat for both those, obviously, for those drivers. So anyway, that will do it here today at Pocono Raceway. Here, if you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe to the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming channel. We got in-races gaming videos where we're president of the NNSCRA 7 Close First channel. And be sure to check out our Cavalcade of series in the NNSCRA, including the Duracell Cup Series, the All Pro Series, and the Marvel Studios Cup Series, all from the NNSCRA. To keep up on the Marvel Studios Cup Series, you have to subscribe to Thrashmania 899's channel. That's Ray by McIntyre's channel, that is. And all three of those series, you will not regret checking them out there, and I'll guarantee you they're a whole lot better than what I have to offer. Just kidding. So anyway, that will do it here today at Pocono Raceway. Congratulations again to Charles Sanford, the winner of the WIX Filters 500. And so be sure here, and for now, this is James Qualls, the production of the NNSCRA. Offline Racing at its best. We will see you for the Die Hard 500 at Talladega.
Greg, did you have any initial problems?